One of the most unique things about Ithaca is how much the people here love to support local agriculture.
Okay, what's your favorite thing at the farmers market?
Ice cream.
Love the people, see all kinds of familiar faces, the whole community is here. The day is beautiful, love to shop here and get some local vegetables and cheese and burrito.
Well, we came to get some burritos. Yeah. They're consistently worth the line, I would say.
I'm eating Cambodian food right now. It's a mango salad.
Fresh food is always good, better than the fair in college town. So
The farmers markets here in Ithaca are an important driver of local economic activity, as well as tourism. However, there are a significant number of obstacles that farmers must overcome in order to create the farmers market atmosphere that the people here enjoy so much. We decided to listen to the farmers themselves to learn about the challenges they face and why they think that sustaining local agriculture takes much more than just a good turnout at the market. One of the difficulties facing farmers in the Finger Lakes is the unpredictable weather, which can devastate crops with little or no warning. Jacob, from Six Circles Farm, explained to us why farmers must always expect the unexpected.
Crops can be ruined in a matter of a day. Every day is different. Every month is so different. Every year is so different. Now we're in an area where we get 60-mile-an-hour winds. You could have snow tomorrow. We get floods. We get drought. You have to be ready for everything and anything.
Other farmers that we spoke to reported negative impacts from drought during the last 2 years.
My name is Richard Sable. My farm is Sable's Farm. For the last 2 years, we've had 4 seasons. 2 years ago, we had a really wet spring, so you couldn't plant until late, and it totally dried out, and you had a lot of crops that didn't do that well. Last spring, you didn't really have a winter, you didn't have the snow, and you didn't have the soil moisture, so it came off dry. We are a dryland farm, so we don't really have a way to irrigate. Most of our water resources go for the animals, so we're sort of at the whim of nature, and the past 2 years have not been the greatest.
In addition to the recent challenges of drought, a late freeze caused millions of dollars in damage to last year's apple crop. Some apple farmers are still trying to recover from last year's losses.
My name is Dennis Hartley, and I own or co-own Little Tree Orchards with Anna Steinkraus. We have approximately 40 acres of mixed fruits and vegetables. The primary are apples. Last year, things started blooming in March. Then we went through a number of frosts, and then in mid-April, we ended up with 1.5 inches of snow. And even all that wasn't horrible. I expected to have a decent crop. But what really did most of the orchards in New York State was the following 3 days where it went into the 20 degrees and below. And that pretty much killed or froze, actually, any fruit set. A lot of growers lost anywhere from 40 to 80% of their entire crop for the year. It was reported that last year was the worst year since 1947 for apples in New York State.
My name's Anna Gibson. My farm is Wild Apple Farm. I grow a variety of organic vegetables. Climate change is going to be a big challenge. Weather's always a problem. It can be good or bad for you, but I would say that the extremes that we see now, so that in one season you can go from a 6 to 8 week period of almost no rain and then suddenly start having thunderstorms and deluges and too much rain, all within one season. So it jerks you around.
Some of the biggest challenges are faced by small family-run farms. Tim Springston runs a non-mechanized farm in Chemung County with his wife Noelia. He's concerned about the complications of improving infrastructure to make his operation more efficient, while finding enough time to spend with his family.
We're pretty still dependent on hand labor, and we grow very intensively. Just one of the main reasons is we don't own a tractor yet. The farm didn't have any infrastructure. It was just basically a house with open land. So we've had to build all the infrastructure that we have. And so things like, a cooler, a good, efficient washing station, really solid irrigation system, all of those things we still are working on. because they all cost a lot of money. Neither of us are really honestly full-time on the farm because we're also doing a lot of childcare. There's just like very few hands to get all the work done. So that's a big challenge, isn't it, sweetie? Mouth.
My name is Ellen Brown, and we own Dancing Turtle. We do primarily sprouts. I have a 1-year-old, so I work from home, but I also am a work-at-home, stay-at-home mom, so basically juggling everything.
Cao Chang from Stick and Stone Farm, and my wife Lucy Garrison. And our kids, Rhoda, Ezra, and Greta. Running a small business can be just kind of crazy, and trying to balance that with family and everything else can be pretty challenging, I guess.
And no season is complete without bugs and pests, which cause hundreds of millions of dollars in damage to New York farmers' crops every year. This year, berry farmers are worried about a new insect pest, the spotted-winged Drosophila. It's a fly that first appeared in New York in 2011 and could devastate this year's late-season fruit crops.
My name is John Tamburello, and my farm is named Glenhaven Farm, and we started out in 1979 growing blueberries. There's another problem this year, but we don't know how devastating it'll be. It's an insect from Asia. They call it the spotted-winged Drosophilus. It's caused millions of dollars in damage on the West Coast and the southern states, and it lays eggs, and then you get little maggots in your fruit, and people don't want you to spray, but they're not going to want maggots in their blueberry muffins.
My name is John Reynolds, and the farm is Daring Drake Farm, and we are a orchard, and we sell nursery stock, mainly fruit plants. The Drosophila, the spotted-winged Drosophila, which yes, definitely showed up last late summer in central New York. I had an order to plant quite a bit of fall raspberries this spring, and I canceled the order for that very reason.
Aside from the complexities of climate science, pest management, raising a family, and raising a few crops, there remains one issue that farmers big and small are seriously thinking about. The issues of hydraulic fracturing and natural gas development have deeply polarized the local farming community, with some farmers for and some farmers against opening up New York State to horizontal gas drilling.
My name is Dwayne Wade, and our business is Wade's Honey and Candles. I'm not an anti-fracking person. I guess I'm a fence straddler right now. I want to see what they have to do in order to open up the area to frack. But I'm not concerned about this area so much because this is probably the last area that they would come to anyhow because of where the gas is located. It's just too expensive to do it in this area.
Dennis Hartley from Little Tree Orchards is concerned about potential water quality problems.
And they want to get up here and frack in this area for many reasons. A, it possibly is a good fracking area, but more importantly, we have an abundance of water. And they use incredible amounts of water to frack. And where are they going to get that water? Out of our lakes. Yes, and it does bring money to probably, there's a good parts, but I got to tell you, there's got to be a point where money just doesn't make it. What is more important?
Farmers in Chemung County, like Tim from Oxbow Farm, are worried because if hydraulic fracturing were to be permitted, their land would be on the front lines of natural gas expansion. They are frustrated with the local political situation, but are unsure of how to change it.
Well, we're down in Chemung County, where they're probably going to be fracking pretty actively fairly soon. So people, I feel like, are very comfortable with natural gas development, and I don't think there's the awareness down there that the hydrofracking is rather different. I would say our local politicians are really pro-fracking. Don't know really what to do about it, but, hope for the best, unfortunately. I do see it's going to happen. I just feel like New York State is too eager to get that tax revenue. But I'm hopeful that maybe If they keep delaying it, they'll learn as much as they can from the mistakes they're making down in Pennsylvania. It's really, really a scary issue.
Gas companies offered Michael Gloss from Kingbird Farm enough money to leave the Finger Lakes and skip out on all the troubles of trying to make ends meet with the farmer's income. He refused. For him, it's a question about community values.
Before even fracking had started and there was just thought of there being natural gas under us that they could get in a conventional manner with vertical rather than horizontal drilling, we had lots of landspeople coming to our farm over a fairly quick period, offering us fairly large amounts of money, the highest being about $500,000 in leasing for our 100 acres. So more money than our land was actually worth if we sold it. Never did sign a lease. Continue to be very concerned about what it could do to our area, our ability to farm, and just our ability to appreciate all the attributes of the area that we moved into. We could have gotten a lot of money. We still could. I mean, we still could have won the sign a lease. This is not to pit people against each other, but people with large acreage generally are more likely to be for fracking, and people with no acreage or very little are generally against it. If you really look at what it may do, the people with lots of land should be the most concerned because they're the ones that most likely maybe will benefit initially monetarily, but also the ones that are more likely to have their livelihood affected if there are problems. We were being offered enough money to potentially, move. Forget it, don't even have to sell the place. Just, take the lease money and go somewhere where this isn't a problem. We're also concerned of being left without any money and surrounded by an industrial zone. We still have that concern. Yeah, you may make a bunch of money up front, but it's a real gamble because you may end up without anything.
Despite all of the challenges that farmers face, whether they are environmental, social, or a combination of the two, agriculture in the Finger Lakes region is thriving because of the supportive community that surrounds it.
The community itself, the community is very supportive of local agriculture, and that is by far the biggest reason why the Ithaca Farmers Market is the way it is. The kinds of farms that are able to sell here tend to be a little smaller and more diverse as opposed to some of the terminal markets like in Rochester and Syracuse where they let distributors even come in, and that really changes what the demand is at that market, and it really drives the price down as well, so it's harder for smaller farms to compete with that.
Community is the biggest part of our farm. Without the social community that surrounds this area and the people that are there, we would really not exist. And it's the one thing that just drives me and drives the farm. It really promotes diversity, but also buying local, keeping money in the economy, circulating that money back to the hands of people that live and work here, not off to foreign investments or multinational corporations.
Ithaca has a lot of people who care about eating good quality food. People in general are appreciating, and I think this is the day for farmers markets. This is the time in history where farmers markets are just thriving so much.
Local growers agree that community is what will sustain New York's agriculture for the present and future. And from the looks of things here at the farmers market, that isn't going to change anytime soon. I'm Stephanie Colombo, WRFI Community Radio News, Ithaca, New York.
Mm-hmm.